goodness, I miss your face.
I know, I miss you too. I'm beyond excited to be here. I always pictured this moment and to be here sharing my story and be one of Roseanne's success stories is just, I'm so grateful. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness, it's our pleasure and it's our honor. So, why don't you share with the ladies listening a little bit about your fertility journey, how we met, and where you are today?
Okay, so I'll start with my mom. So my mom had two babies in her 40s, and this was like 30 years ago when it wasn't as cool as it is today. So I remember being in high school and my mom said, I'm pregnant. And I was like, what? Like, you're supposed to be retiring. And, anyways, a year later, she was pregnant again. And I'm like, this is crazy, mom. Like, what are you doing? But I always had her story that I held on to. And so, the thought of it's so difficult for women to get pregnant later. I never had that because of my mom's story. And then I first started trying to conceive when I was 38. And it took us 3 years to conceive. And we had, fertility treatments and IVF and IUIs and miscarriages. And I did end up conceiving naturally after all of that. So I was 41 when I had my little guy. So I actually met Roseanne after all of this. And I had a lot of confidence because I was like, my mom's done it. I've already done it. Now I'm going for baby number two. Like, this should be a piece of cake. But it wasn't. And so 2 years into trying for baby number two, I was now 43 years old. Sorry, doing math in my head. So 43 years old. And I said, why is this not happening? Like, it should be really easy. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I work in the fertility space. I've done this before. There's all this evidence around me, but it wasn't happening a second time. So my best friend is Carolyn. Some of you may have seen Carolyn's podcast, and she conceived. So she worked with Roseanne and she conceived at 45 and had her baby, I believe it was like 5 days before her 46th birthday. And she conceived, yeah, so she conceived naturally. So I always had like Carolyn there who was like, you've done this before, I've done this, you can do this. But again, it wasn't happening. So every month, negative, negative. And it did start to get to me because I was like, maybe I'm not meant to have another one. Like, maybe it's one and done. But I always wanted more. I always had this vision of like having three. And so time went on. And what I'm so grateful for, the gift that Roseanne gave me, because I have to say, like, I'm pretty fortunate. Like, I come from a positive dad that had like affirmations on our fridge growing up. Like, I've always been in that world of positivity and mindset. I've had coaches for the last 2 decades. But Roseanne, I'm so glad that I decided to work with her because when it came to fertility, I still had a lot of blocks that I wasn't aware of. And I think when I called Carolyn and I said, do you think I should work with Roseanne? Like, am I missing something? I'm checking all the boxes. I'm taking the best quality supplements. I go to acupuncture 2 to 3 times a week. I'm doing castor oil packs. I'm doing red light therapy. Like, I'm meditating. Like, there was nothing that I wasn't doing in terms of functional medicine and naturopathic medicine. And Carolyn said, absolutely. Like, Roseanne, she helped me. I think she can help you too. So I decided to work with Roseanne. And the gift that Roseanne gave me, I think I was still very judgmental coming into the program. And I wanted to get pregnant naturally. And it was like I was trying to prove that I could do it again. So it was the perfectionist in me and the high achieving woman in me that was like, I'm going to do this again because I've already done this once and I can do it again. So Roseanne really helped me open up my mindset and look at possibilities. And so I did consider, I was like, okay, maybe I need help. Maybe I need more this time around. And I started considering IVF. I had done it before. All of our embryos were genetically abnormal. It was pretty traumatizing. So I didn't want to do it again, but I was like, maybe my story is going to end differently this time around, and that is okay. And I want to stop judging myself because I was judging myself. So I decided to do IVF abroad. And the reason why is because I'm here in Ontario, Canada, and I've seen a total of 5 fertility doctors, actually 6 fertility doctors in Ontario, Canada. And the one I was working with at the time, he was very negative. Like, he was not on my bump squad. Like, I was like, why am I going to pay this dude all this money when we're going into a procedure and he doesn't even think that this is going to work? Like it didn't make sense to me. So I was like, let's consider going abroad. Maybe we will have more luck there, or at least have people who are on our team, on our bump squad, doctors who are a little bit more optimistic. So we decided to go to Cyprus because my husband is Cypriot. We have a place there. I seeked out a clinic and I was like, we're going to do it. So in June, we went to Cyprus. So this is like my son now was 4 years old and I had never like gotten pregnant again. After my son, for whatever reason, never got pregnant again. So here I am now. I joined Roseanne's program last summer. And in my head, I was like, uh-oh, it's almost 12 months, like Roseanne says pregnant in 12 months. I'm like, the deadline is coming. So summer was here, and I was like, I still have time. We're going to Cyprus, and I'm coming back pregnant. And Roseanne in the program said, when you go to the clinic, you say, I'm here to pick up my baby. So in my mind, I was like, okay, we're going to Cyprus to pick up our baby. So we went 2.5 weeks after we landed. I had my egg retrieval. And by the way, the first 2 weeks we had no luggage. So, of course, Lufthansa lost our luggage and we had nothing. Like, I didn't have even like a pair of socks. So, we had to go shopping. All of my supplements were in my luggage. I'm like, the universe is testing me because my supplements, like, I I really love my supplements. So anyways, I didn't have anything for 2 weeks. 2.5 weeks after I land, it's my egg retrieval. And I said, I want to do a day 3 fresh embryo transfer. The doctor said, I don't really recommend it. I said, that's fine. I want to do a day 3 fresh transfer. And I think that confidence came from Roseanne because I did not have that confidence before. Even though I'm a clinician, I still would see like the white coat and I'd be like, oh, what is it that they're going to suggest? And I didn't have a strong voice with my fertility doctors. But after working with Roseanne, I was like, hell no, like I'm running the show. This is my party. Like we're doing it my way. So I said, I want to do a day 3 transfer. And we did the day 3 transfer. And I was like, I think I'm pregnant. I think I'm pregnant. Like I'm pretty sure it worked. I met the deadline, the 12 months. Now I can go back and everything's great. But unfortunately, it didn't work. And I was like, uh-oh, something's off again. So what I learned from Roseanne is like I always would like check in with myself and I would be like, where's the block? And I never did that before. But I was like, okay, and it's fine. Like normally it's like my whole world would come crashing down. I had like a little cry and that was it. It was like, what are we doing next? And again, it's because I learned from Roseanne that failed IVF doesn't mean anything. Like it just, you're collecting data. And I love that. And so for me, it wasn't the end of my world that the transfer didn't work. I was like, it's okay. Like I'm just going to try again. So July comes around and I go to the clinic and I say, I want to do another transfer because we had 2 more embryos. So I said, I want to do another transfer. And the doctor said, okay, no problem. Come on this date for cycle monitoring. I went in for cycle monitoring. He told me come back the following Friday. I said, it seems a little bit late. Like I know my body. I know when I ovulate and you need to go before you ovulate for cycle monitoring for those of you who are in the IVF world. And he said, no, it's totally fine. Just come on Friday. It'll be, I think, day 10 of your cycle or day 11. And I said, no, it's a little bit late. Can you please bring me in? He said, no, it's fine. I said, okay. I've also learned that I need to release control. So I was like, okay, I'm going to release control. I'm going to trust the doctor. Let's do this. So sure enough, it's Thursday night and I'm like having pain and I'm like, uh-oh, I think I'm ovulating. Like I think this is not good. And earlier that day I saw cervical mucus. So I go to the clinic the next day. The doctor sure enough says, oh, we don't see anything. Oh, we're sorry. We can't do the transfer. We suggest you go back to Canada and you come back in 2 months. I'm like, dude, do you know how far Canada is? Like, do you have any idea how hard it was to travel here with a 4-year-old? How, I don't want to say expensive because, Roseanne has taught me. So we don't use the word expensive, but I was like, it was a pretty big investment to travel there. And I really had no interest in going back. So I was like, okay, you've got to do this procedure. Like you don't understand. Like I'm here to pick up my baby. You have to do this procedure. And the doctor said, well, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your embryos. It's a big emotional investment. I really suggest you come back. And I said, I can't come back in 2 months. Like we have jobs, my child's in school. He said, then come back next summer. I said, I'll be 46. Like, why don't I come back when I'm 56? Does that work for you? Like, I was really not happy at all because I told him specifically, I said, I ovulate early. You should bring me in early. And he said, no, it's fine. Friday's fine. Anyways, so I pushed. And again, this comes from my coaching with Roseanne. I honestly would not have pushed. I'm like people pleaser, sweet girl Sarah. I probably would have said, oh, thank you. And then I would have cried all the way back to Canada with no baby. But I said, we're going to do the procedure. I take full responsibility. If it doesn't work out, he said it's a super low chance, like low, low, low. I was like, okay, that's fine. He said, well, we don't even know when to do it. Like we're going in blindly. We have no idea where you are in your cycle. I said, that's fine. I'll tell you where I am in my cycle. I said, I ovulated last night at 10 p.m. He said, that's impossible. They said, there's no way that you could possibly know you ovulated last night at 10 p.m. And I wasn't tracking. Like I didn't take ovulation strips. I didn't take my temperature. Like it was just, I know my body because I've been tracking for 7 years. Like I'm pretty sure I know my body. But anyways, he was like, there's no way. I said, I had cervical mucus. He's like, that's the medication. So the doctor definitely wasn't on my bump squad, but he agreed. He was like, fine, we'll do the procedure. We have no idea when to do it. I said, well, do it based on my timing. Let's say last night at 10 p.m., count 5 days. I'll be back on Tuesday. The summer in Cyprus was a little bit challenging because I didn't have my friends. My husband wasn't there. He was pretty much in Germany and Slovakia for work. So I was just like, I wanted to like go out and have fun and let loose. Like everything just felt like constricted. And so we met, like I had met a 21-year-old family friend who salsa dances. And I said, hey, if you're ever going salsa dancing, like I'd love to join you this summer. Like I'm here till mid-August. So sure enough, she calls me and she says, I'm going salsa dancing Monday night. Do you want to come? And my transfer, blind transfer, was Tuesday morning. So I was like, oh dear. Like I'm not one that goes out at night. And I'm like, oh, should I really be out till like 1 or 2 in the morning, the night of my embryo transfer? And I was like, well, you know what? The doctor says it's not going to work anyways. So who cares? Let's go. I went dancing. I had like the best time. It was so much fun. It was like I danced my heart out and I got home super late, woke up in the morning. I would walk an hour and a half to the clinic, so almost an hour and a half. I walked all the time for all my cycle monitoring, everything back and forth. Went to the clinic, walk in, and reception, who saw like they've seen me all summer, they were like, whoa, what happened to you? And I'm like, oh, I went dancing. So I guess like I was giving off really great energy. And I said, I'm here to pick up my baby. And the doctor said, all right. So I went to see embryology and I said, you know what? It's such a low chance, right? Let's transfer two just for fun. And the doctor was like, oh gosh, this girl. Anyways, I said, let's transfer two. The doctor said, hey, you're calling the shots at this point. We'll do two. Came back to Canada, had an ultrasound, and I'm pregnant with twins.
Twins after a night of salsa dancing.
Yes, twins.
Oh my goodness. And you did it your way.
I did. Thank you, Roseanne. I'm forever grateful. I'm forever grateful.
Oh my goodness. How far along are you now, girl?
5 months.
Oh my goodness. With twins. Like,
Yes.
I don't know a single woman on this journey that has not had twins cross her mind. So you went big. Not only did you say a yes to yourself and do this work, but you gave yourself permission on so many fronts to do it your way. And now you are pregnant with twins, Sarah.
Thank you. I'm so excited. You know what? The shock has worn off. Honestly, I was like, whoa, what do you mean too? But now we're super excited.
Well, and Sarah, okay, look, let's break this down too, because you are a naturopathic doctor. You see people every single day. Why did you even stop to consider a mindset? Because you could have easily blown this off and said, this is fucking woo woo. I've tried all these things. Why would this, like, why was this different for you?
Honestly, I was checking all the boxes. Like there was nothing left for me to check. other than mindset. Like I look at everything I was doing there, like other than standing upside down for 30 minutes a day, like I did everything other than mindset. Plus, Carolyn, my best friend, had success with you. And so that was always in the back of my mind. I'm like, well, what did she do for Carolyn? Like, what was so spectacular? Like, and Carolyn's pretty positive too. Like, we come from the same background, we've had similar coaches over the years, but you helped her so much. So for me, I was like, there's got to be something here. And I'm like, I'm a student. I'm not somebody who's like, I know everything. I'm forever going to learn. I'm forever going to be a student. And I will tell you, like, I swung back into my masculine energy right after I had my son. So when I got pregnant with him, I was in my feminine, but I swung right back to my masculine energy. I was working back in the corporate world. I was running my business. I was seeing patients. Like I was overworked. I was depleted. I was not accepting help. I was not accepting help at all. And so I knew that that was part of it. And you do a lot with feminine energy, masculine energy. So that was a huge part for me. I knew like it wasn't the information. I've been exposed to similar information before, but I wasn't applying it. Like, I really do think that our brain just defaults to our old ways.
Yep, and until you change them, you go back to the same old pattern. Well, look at you now. You are going to be a family of 3, just like you saw in your mind's eye. Well done, woman. And
Thank you.
congratulations. You did it. And thank you for your kindness and your generosity in sharing this story with these women so that they can see that they can do it too. So thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you, Roseanne. And all of you, you're in the right place. You're you're going to have your baby. Like I can't emphasize it enough. Just trust the process and and invest in yourself. I was the DIY girl. Like honestly, invest in yourself. Don't make excuses.
That's right. No excuses, girl, because when you live by no excuses, you can create exactly what you did. So well done, Sarah. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your testimony here. We're so grateful.